Hi, I am Jannavi and today we are going to discuss methods common to all objects. An object is primarily designed for extension, right? Objects non-final methods, example equals, toString, hashcode are designed to be overridden. Now, there is a general contract for doing that. This is because if these methods are not overridden properly, this will result in failure of other classes that depend on this. Example, hashmap. The first method is equals. The question is, do we need to override it? But before answering this question, we need to understand the difference between logical equality and object equality. I have two strings s1 and s2 with same value hello with capital H. The first statement verifies is s1 equal to s2 and prints true or false accordingly. This field prints false. This is object equality. This is because this s1 equal to s2 calls equals method of object class, which is this, right? And it checks for reference equality, meaning it returns true if and only if both these references point to the same object in memory, which is not true in our example, as only value of s1 and s2 are same, but s1 and s2 are two different objects stored at two different memory locations, and hence this returns false. The second one, which is s1 dot equals s2, is logical equality. It calls dot equals method of string class, this, and according to this logic it checks for value, which in our case is hello in both the cases, and hence this return true. So this is the difference between both of this. After this, the question was, do we need to override it? Well, it depends. One such scenario where we need not override it is when superclass has already overridden it and superclass behavior is appropriate for this class. Example, map implementations from abstract map. One more example here on the screen is, I have created a class called person which has two fields, name and id. This is the constructor, and after this I have implemented equals method. By the way, this is logical equality, and according to the implementation of this equals method, two objects of person class are considered to be equal if and only if their id is same, otherwise not, right? Then I have an employee class which extends person class. It has only one variable salary, and if you notice here I have not implemented equals method here. This depends on my use case, because here I am okay if two objects of employee class are equal only when they have id, same id, and this is already implemented in its superclass which is person, right? So I need not re-implement it here. Okay, so this is a case where we don't need to override equals, because superclass has already overwritten it. Now, when do we need to? When we need logical equality, than just object equality, and superclass has not already overridden it, or it has overridden it but maybe its behavior is not appropriate for this class. In such case we need to override equals method, right? Now, when you override equals method, you adhere to its general contract. The first one is being reflexive. What does it state? For any non-null value x dot equals x must return true. This merely states that an object must be equal to itself, and it's hard to imagine where it is not. The second one is symmetry. It states for any non-null value x and y, x dot equals y must return true if and only if y dot equals x returns true. So basically these two should be same. These two should return same value. Now I have an example for this. So here I have created a class named case insensitive string. This implements case insensitive string class, which has a private variable string as this is the constructor. Here I have overridden the equals method, and this is my main class. Now I'll run this method, and if you see in the object, this sys1 dot equals regular string returns true, and regular string dot equals sys1 returns false. So basically x dot equals y is not equal to y dot equals x, which violates the law of symmetry, the contract of symmetry. So something is wrong in this method. Now if you say sys1 is an object instance of case insensitive string, sys1 dot equals regular string works like this. So here I have this object O is regular string. After that I am checking if this O object, if it's an instance of this class or is it a string. So for this example, this is an instance string, because regular string is a string and not a case insensitive string. So this comes to the second if condition, and then S here is sys1. So it checks sys1 dot equal, this method equal ignore case, and casts it here, which is regular string. So basically at the end it's checking hello with a capital H dot equals ignore case hello, which is true. This method is called and it returns true. So this is correct. Okay, looks good. Then we go to the second one, regular string dot equals sys1. But interestingly, this dot equals, it will not call this method, but it will call this method. Now the reason is regular string is a string and not a case insensitive string. So dot equal method will be called of string class and not of this our implementation class. And according to this logic, it returns false. It checks for case. So hello with a capital H is not equal to hello with a small h. So this returns false. But this cannot work, right? This violates the contract of symmetry. This should be false now. So this implementation is incorrect. So now these two classes are similar. They do the similar job, right? The name is different here. New case insensitive string as this is the constructor. The equals method is different, and then I have again called this. I'll comment out this and I'll run this. Remember, this was true and false, and this here is false and false. Okay, again the second one, regular string dot equals sys1 calls string, this method only, which returns false. So what changed in the first one? Sys1 dot equals regular string. Let us see. So sys1 dot equals regular string. O here object is again regular string which is passed, and O is O an instance of new case insensitive string? No, it is a string and not this. So this returns false here, right? So x dot equals y is equal to y dot equals x. This adheres to the contract of symmetry. If you see, if I this 2 also, this returns true too. Sys1 dot equals sys2. Sys1 capital H, sys2 small h. But these two method dot equals, they call this method only, right? I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about equals method, about reflexive, about its contract, reflexive and symmetry. Continue in the next video. We'll talk about some other things. Thank you so much.